good morning.
Hello, thank you for your patience. It's always the same with conferences.
No, it's perfectly fine. I'm sorry for not being there with you, which I was originally planning, but I got stuck. I would like to introduce to you my fund, which I'm starting at the moment. The whole presentation is in present tense, but this is more, let's say, this is more happening at the moment. I'm just starting this fund and not everything is ready yet, but basically the fund Refugium is environmental land fund, and this fund is to be a portfolio of naturally valuable habitats in the Czech Republic. These lands are characterized by their exceptional biodiversity and the presence of species of European importance. At the same time, they provide indispensable local ecosystem functions. Refugium seeks to protect and restore these habitats based on ESG principles, which is green, responsible, and sustainable investment strategies. Basically, we all realize that our planet's wildlife is disappearing and at a staggering rate. And by joining the Refugium Fund, I believe that investors can actively participate in savings, in saving it for the future generations. Maybe I should start it maybe without introducing myself. My name is Prokop Svoboda, and my background is I'm a businessman. My background is in real estate. I live in Prague, and also I consider myself as an amateur biologist. So that's where this idea came from, and the idea is of establishing the fund is coming from my lifelong interest in nature, specifically wetlands and steppes, which are demonstrably the most endangered in the Czech Republic today. Wetlands and water retention have recently been discussed from A to Z, whether in the context of landscape adaptation to climate change, small water cycle, or the loss of biodiversity. Similarly, the protection of steppes and dry grasslands is key to preserving our natural heritage. I believe that investing in these types of land is worthwhile, environmentally responsible, as they can act as a natural preservers of financial resources. And as society becomes more and more aware of the natural value of these disappearing habitats, it can rightly be assumed that their financial value will also increase. This is pretty much here. You can see me on the left and my colleagues digging a ditch to prevent agrochemical runoff from surrounding fields into habitat during the heavy rains. So, of course, part of the fund is not only buying and creating this portfolio of naturally valuable land, but also management, revitalization, and of course sustainability. The goal funds, as you can also read here, it's purchasing naturally valuable lands and managing them in cooperation with experts. Preserving our natural and cultural heritage for future generations, traditional organic agriculture, protecting non-productive functions of water, forests, and farmland, improving ecosystem services, water regime, natural water retention, flood and extreme drought prevention, local climate recreation. Growing environmental awareness among stakeholders, local communities, and general public, and of course reducing our carbon footprint. I don't. I think we all understand the threats to the modern landscape. I think I don't need to go through this slide. I think it's pretty clear that it's loss of natural habitats, it's high impact on chemicals, air and water pollution, extensive eutrophication of the environment, loss of traditional landscape structure, industrial husbandry, large-scale farming, invasion of non-native plants, predators, and competitors. Water and wetlands are rapidly disappearing from our intensively farmed landscape, and with them wetland species, amphibians, birds, insects, or plants. Am I still there? I'm sorry.
Yes, all going good.
Yeah, good. Can you, because I only see myself at the moment. Okay, this is about the fund itself. You know, we are. It's me and a few of my friends and colleagues. We are currently in the process of founding an investment company registered at the Czech National Bank under paragraph 15 of the Act on Investment Funds. It's a type of alternative investment fund, and the fund already owns a portfolio of land of, I think, increasing value. The current estimated value of the portfolio is approximately 15 million crowns. And the fund is planning to invest approximately 10 million crowns per year, unless we have some more ambitious investors around who want to contribute with bigger amounts. This is, let's say, the basic expectation of the fund growth. I believe that green stock or green bond can basically improve why someone should invest in a fund that pretty much at the moment has no income. The only performance of the fund is a capital gain. Basically, the fund is buying some land, and the value of land generally is growing. So there is some performance, but there is no cash flow, which if we're talking conservative investment fund, it would be pretty much nonsense. However, there are some assets in the investment world that produce no income, that only represent value preservation. So the performance of the fund is based on the capital gain. Also, in the future, the fund has ambition to be involved in organic farming. So in the future, we believe there will be some income, even some cash flow. But at the moment, it's a value preserver, and we believe that the main motivation for the investors should be the fact that green stock or green bond can improve rating of their investment portfolio, especially these days where the ESG principles are discussed on a daily basis. So this would be the main, most likely the main motivation for the investors. But at the same time, it can be a question of social responsibility, environmental statement, or just becoming of the community around the fund. So this is pretty much about the fund itself. Of course, the fund would be regulated. It's registered with Czech National Bank, and there has to be some regulation. We plan on investment committee, environmental experts, advisors. This should be the fund should have a proper structure from that perspective. And as far as the securities, the fund should issue shares and green bonds. Shortly about the current portfolio of lands, we're I would say we're at the very beginning, but the fund already made 2 acquisitions. One is a land which is in South Bohemia. The site is called Zakovárno. It's a plot of totaling 7.2 hectares in Maříž Jindřichův Hradec. The village of Maříž lies on the border with Austria, on the historic tree border between Bohemia, Moravia, and Austria, 3 kilometers southern from town of Slavonice. At the moment, here is basically there you see this diagram or this land scheme. The plot consists of wet meadow, mesophilic meadow, beaver marsh, alder and some wood plants on the left. It is located in an important spring area. Water enters the area via 3 tributaries and several springs. The site contains this beaver marsh, which is particularly interesting and signifying a shift back to wildlife and the establishment of many natural and self-regulating mechanisms. Also, such a large biotope with this exceptionally well-preserved water regime provides a maximum level of ecosystem services in the form of water retention, self-cleaning, cooling effects, and a source of biodiversity. Due to its location and size, it can largely function independently, which is quite rare in today's landscape. On the other hand, decades of pure land management have resulted into degradation of the original grassland habitats and something like new wilderness appeared. We are in the process of land consolidation, scelování pozemků, land consolidation. We are at the moment in negotiations with the owners of their neighboring land, so very likely we will be able to buy more of the Kar woodlands. And you see on the west there is a pond that should become part of this this habitat, and also we're in negotiations with the farmland owners on the south. So there's a pretty good chance that we would create a more buffer zone, bigger buffer zone for the site itself. So this is the land in Maříž. As I mentioned before, the area's water regime is very, very good. Here we have few pictures of all the cars. This is the beaver marsh. On the left, the picture, it's also part of the beaver marsh. The picture on the right is a wet meadow area, which is mostly overgrown with wood clapperage. we began regularly moving this wet meadow, so we're planning to improve situation there for plants. We made our friend Philip Lisak, biologist, made a botanical survey in the spring. We found a few interesting protected endangered plant species. I suppose you can read the names. I wouldn't go for reading in English. Bazanovec kytkokvětí, vachta trojlista, zábělík bahení, pasterček patoční. Those are the most significant discoveries in terms of botanical survey. This February we created 8 amphibian pools in cooperation with Spolek Mokřady from Jihlava. The pools were immediately colonized by tree frogs, agile frogs, and smooth newts. Also, we made herpetological survey in cooperation with Spolek Zamenis, who we have also as Radka from Zamenis is part of this conference. So Radka helped me to monitor the amphibians in the site. There's a decent list of amphibians. Also, we expect other species yet to discover. For example, Arana arvalis, which we haven't spotted yet on this side, but in neighborhood or in the area, in the location, there were some foundings based on the o.p.s database, which is a species occurrence database of the Natural Conservation Agency of the Czech Republic. So we expect, and this habitat seems almost perfect for Arana arvalis, so we expect this species to appear, plus there are a few more that we have good assumption that those species should be part of the location. Plus, there is a second plot or second piece of land, which is a very new, which become very newly part of the portfolio, which are ponds near Jakubov village, which is in Karlovy Vary region. The area is of 7.4 hectares. The site consists 3 ponds, a water source, meadows, and brushland in the valley of the Ohře River by the border of Vojenský újezd Hradiště military zone. And the site is significant for its high level of biodiversity, including the iconic species of the Střední Pohoří area, the Aesculapian snake, Zamenis longissimus. So this is the most recent acquisition, which we are quite happy of. I show you a few pictures. It's a nice piece of wildlife with big potential for upgrading the environmental situation there. That's pretty much it. So thank you for your attention and a little bit of a private investor's view.
Thank you, Prokop.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prokop.
You can stop sharing now.
Yes.
Let's see. It's sometimes, I mean, it's amazing what having leverage can do so much more for conservation. You can try to work on a very small area and trying to push your project, but sometimes creating a big fund and purchasing land is probably the most efficient way to protect So it's yeah, very, very interesting. Thank you so much.
I think it's at the moment it's quite an experiment, you know. And when I speak to people about this, and maybe even to some potential investors, everybody seems interested, but I think it's going to take time, and I will put. I'm planning to put more to build this portfolio to make it bigger and more relevant, and also I try to create community of experts helping me with this project, you know. So once we have some relevant references for the management and revitalization, then I think I believe that this can be a real investment fund.
It looks great. I'm going to open the room for questions.
Okay. So, at the meantime, can you please, Prokop, stop sharing screen?
Excuse me?
Can you stop screen?
Okay. Okay.
So we can see the audience in the.
Sure. I try to jump out.
Yes. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Here.
Okay. So. Any question?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
hello. I would like to ask, maybe I don't understand properly how it's working. So I would like to know who are the investors, if they are the owner of the land they invested, and how is this secure that they will not use the land for their own purpose, like it will be not in environment today, like how this is working, because I don't understand actually the system of the investors and the owner of the land.
Okay. At the moment, it's only me myself. I think I know that I have to start somewhere, so I'm using my private resources, financial resources, and I'm buying such habitats or such sites. And the moment I open the fund, basically, I expect people either they find it useful and environment responsible, or they even see some financial potential behind it. I expect some investor to join me, but at the moment it's me myself, and I think I have to put first portfolio which is relevant and which makes sense, and then I believe that there might be investors from the outside joining me. Again, I try to explain, maybe I wasn't clear enough, what should be the motivation for the investors. Either they like the project and this is sort of charity for them, or I think in today's investment world, it starts to be more and more important to be environmental responsible, basically, from a perspective of this ESG strategy, which there is a high pressure, and I think there'll be more and more pressure on investors to buy green bonds or green assets, you know. And this is not necessarily that such asset in their portfolio would perform some income, would create some. This is going to be more about the ratings that investors have with their banks and with their investors. So I believe that this could be very. I can create interesting green asset that would basically help investors to improve ratings of their portfolios. And in the investment world, it's of course those lands in the portfolio will produce, if they produce an income, that's going to be very small income, maybe from some eco farming and maybe we can sell some biomass, but it's more about the value of the property. It's called capital gain in Czech. It's the term is kapitálové zhodnocení, kapitálový výnos. So you don't necessarily need to have income from the rent, or you don't need to necessarily have a cash flow, but the performance of the fund can be based on the on the fundament itself, and it's this gain, capital gain.
Any other questions?
Yeah, probably I have a question. If, for example, like how you think about investors, can it be like that some like people who have just some small income can join it and be like some small investor in your group, and if you think, for example, about some limit, how much money you can invest to be in your fund?
That's a very good question. I don't have an answer for this yet.
So
for this yet.
For you to think for future.
But basically, yes. I think this is a small fund. The volume of invested money is, as it is planned now, is relatively small in terms of like investment funds and war. So I think pretty much anybody can be part of it. I don't have a limit. I don't have a limit at the moment. I don't have and to be honest, I still have to think a little bit about it. I'm still this project is rather happening. We're establishing the company. We just started buying the land. So I don't have a particular idea at the moment what should be the limits in terms of the size of the investment. But I think it's pretty much could be anybody.
I have a thought. I don't know if it's yet a question, but I don't know much about this. But in Spain, for example, it's very common that politicians sometimes change the denomination of some land or some plot to increase the value. So, for example, if it's just a field somewhere, it has very little value. But all of a sudden, if you transform it and change the law so that you can build stuff there, then it gets much more value, potential value. I think, of course, this will make the fund, in your case, increase in value and be more.
No, don't worry. I know.
I
know what you're trying to say. This is a purely environmental thing, So don't be afraid that there's some speculation behind it. It's of course. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be talking to you.
Exactly. No, I'm pretty sure. And I really appreciate that you do this and put your own resources into something so effective. But my real question is, how do you prevent, if you accept investors, how do you set their rules? How do you prevent?
I would keep full control of it. You have different type of stocks, and you can keep full control of the fund. That's a principle of an investment fund. There's a founder. You can emit bonds or stocks, but you still have full control of the project.
So it doesn't matter how much.
And in terms, I would like to this fund to function properly. I'm putting together like this investment committee. But that should be based. There should be ecologists, and experts, and so this is more. No. I understand your concerns, but this is definitely not the issue.
I'm not concerned. Just a lot of curiosity. How you can maintain it? No, I imagine if it was a company, then you get several stakeholders, and then they take over the company with.
Right. No. This is, but that the fund structure, and this fund is being licensed with the Czech National Bank. It has a very strict and regulated rules or structure, and no, I would keep the full control of the fund.
Excellent, thank you. And I think we have another question.
Hello. I have actually two questions from me. So one thing is, did you think about to put some legislation protection on those bases, because this makes it for the potential investor more like stable, because once it is protected by the state somehow, it shows that it has some clear aim. But on the other hand, our legislation and conservation is very rigid, so it makes it on the other hand very complicated if you want to do something with it in some modern way, you know, of management or whatever, because in our legislation usually the conservation is very conservative.
Right.
Put into the end, and the second is, which is quite used, is to use it for the potential tourism. But this is again another side of the coin, which too much tourism is very distracting to such places.
Yes. I'm definitely I'm considering the legislation protection. At the moment, I think we're and I also understand, you know, if I reach some legislation protection like EVL or přírodní památka, I'm not sure about the English terms, it can complicate, it can quite complicate the whole thing. You know, if we're talking now about maybe some, we try to revitalize maybe some parts of the land in Maříž, because there are some problems on the land. You know, it's the eutrophication. You know, it's the chemicals coming from drainage and from the fields around and so on. So yeah, I'm just learning those issues, and I'm talking to I think very relevant people in odbor životního prostředí, Jindřichův Hradec, Dačice, you know, and I'm talking pretty much to everybody, and they say like, wait with this, you know, like do what you need to do, but for the future, you know, I think for the fund, you know, it's so I can keep the idea or the what's the English for this mission of the fund, you know, I would try to get the legislation protection for those lands, you know, some kind of protection or the nature conservation. Also, the tourism and agriculture or eco farming. It's a tough thing, you know. On one hand, if the portfolio becomes bigger, or we try to consolidate, you know, the land in Maříž, and there is a good chance that we will double or triple the size of the land, and we will buy some fields around this plot. You know, then we have to deal with to make the project sustainable. We have to deal with some eco farming. Otherwise, it's not sustainable. It's impossible. So eco farming, but I think we're very interested. It's a big challenge. I know nothing about eco farming, but again, you know, I'm already meeting people who are good in it. So and tourism, yeah, I'm actually in particular about tourism, I would be very careful, and I'm afraid of tourism, because those habitats are so nice and so has this great biodiversity, mainly because of no traffic, no human traffic. So yeah, I would be very careful about the touristic function.
Hi, I'd like to ask what's your plan according to the size in future? You would like to have thousands of hectares, or what? How do you think this can work? Because in small scale we have some people trying, but I think we don't have fund like it. It would be really funded by investors, and the potential is very high. So what is your plan if everything goes well?
I have no idea, to be honest. As I said, at the moment, you know, based on my private resources, I should be able to invest 10 million crowns a year. So this would reflect the size. I think today you're buying wetlands and meadows, and or I mean the agriculture. It's the price ranging from 30 to, let's say, 50, maybe 60 crowns per meter. So we can there's an easy calculation behind it. So this is the growth that is based expected on my private resources. The question is, what investors I would attract, how much money they would like to invest. that can make the fund growing faster. Also, it's about the habitats. You know, I already talked to few people that helped me to identify those habitats. You know, at the moment with this plot in Matiš, I was only lucky. You know, I love this area. I spent a lot of time there. I was lucky finding this this place that was for sale. The one in Karlovy Vary region, I think I got tip from Radka Musilova from Zamene some time ago, and I was just lucky that I was able to buy it. But at the same time, so the growth and the size of the fund depends on the financial resources, on the investors, and also on the plots or the sites that would create the portfolio.
I can help in Ústecký region. There are many nice areas in Ústecký Kraj, so
I'm happy. I'm happy if you help me. I'm interested in some good advice.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. So, no, Katka, you had another one.
I had a question which was almost like answered. Yeah, how do you want to look for the places? Maybe, I mean, the Czech Republic is small and all zoologists know each other, so maybe it's possible somehow to create some wish list of something of different interesting places in Czech Republic which need such protection. Yes, so this can be created, like. Yeah.
I think,
for example, we were working in some project on the area which is now managed by pasturing, and we improved the meadows, let's say, and there were a lot of local people under it with the land, and they would be probably interested to sell it to people who would keep the way, you know, because this is some traditional historical way of managing the pastures. So. If such investors exist, I mean, it's an option.
Yes, I think that's part of my mission. It's part of my mission to promote this fund and to motivate people to maybe bring more investment possibilities.
It's brilliant. It's a great idea.
Okay.
Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. And thank you, Prokop, especially.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
If we get more questions, we will convey them to you.
Please do. Okay, thank you very much and have a nice day.